the Cypress Hills. The Cypress Hills are a little bit east from here. And there were some hunters from Montana. They wandered across the border and some of their horses went missing. And they blamed some First Nations people that were camped nearby for stealing their horses. But they hadn't. It was a misunderstanding. But those hunters from Montana went over and killed over 20 of the First Nations people. Now, when reports of this horrible tragedy made their way back out to the new government, like Johnny MacDonald, he decided we better get some police and send them out west to stop that kind of thing from happening. Now, there was another problem going on near where Lethbridge is today. Have you heard of Fort Hoopup?
Yeah.
You know about Fort Hoopup?
Yeah.
Well, it was a trading post that, again, was built by some Americans. They just wandered into Canada, even though it wasn't their country. They came up here, they built a fort, and they were trading whiskey and alcohol with the First Nations people. They were causing a lot of problems. And so the police, they were trying to get to Fort Hoopup to stop that problem. But they got a little bit lost. So the Mounties were a little confused. They weren't sure the best way to get to Fort Hoopup. So they actually followed the Milk River for a while. And then they met up with a guy named Jerry Potts. Are you familiar with Jerry Potts?
No.
He was a guy who was part Blackfoot. So I think like his dad was Scottish and his mom was Blackfoot. So he could speak the Blackfoot language and he knew all about this area. So he told the Mounties, oh yeah, I can show you the way to get to Fort Hoopup. So they marched over they rode their horses to Fort Hoopup to put a stop to the whiskey traders there. But the whiskey traders heard the police were coming, so they got worried and they took off and they went back down into Montana, away from where the police. And so when the police got to Fort Hoopup, it was abandoned. Nobody was living there because they heard the police were coming. And so the police changed the name of the fort from Fort Hoopup to Fort Hamilton, to give it a more respectable name than a Hoopup. That means kind of a wild and crazy place. So they changed it to Fort Hamilton. So there are some places where we see rock art, and it is up there so high, but probably the landscape has changed since the pictures were made. Yeah, do you guys want to come over here? I don't know if you can see very well. I know, yeah. So these rocks used to be attached up here, and then they just tumbled down and got cracks in them. Oh, here's another little interesting thing. It's some kind of an animal. And again, it's got some little things sticking up on its back, and it's got legs coming down. People think that maybe that's a picture of a grasshopper, but it is an odd picture of some kind of an animal. But if you look way up there at that human, can you see that where the human is kind of carved out, it's red?
Yeah.
So there's actually red paint that has been added. Do you guys know what ochre is? Have you heard of ochre? Sometimes if you do art, this is where they would hunt and make their living, and they would gather berries and find food out on the land. So this has always been a very special place.
You saw a couple ticks.
I got them both.
Go now.
Maybe I did. You almost did. You almost did.